I want to start with a very simple question. Was the Southport mass murderer a Muslim? And there's a specific reason why I'm asking that question, because it's been very strange the way this case has been handled. We know that this was a barbaric mass murder by an evil, depraved human being who took no thought for those little innocent children that he attacked. And in all of this, I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything to sensationalize what's happened or try and use it to further an agenda. But there are very serious questions to ask about the religion of this man. And the reason that we have to ask those questions is because there's so much being hidden already. The Al-Qaeda manual was hidden. The ricin was hidden. The fact that he'd been looking at information about the 2017 jihadist attacks and looking at information about what had happened in Libya. All of those things would lead to the conclusion that there's more going on here than we're being told. But let's have a look at the source that I would not normally be a great fan of, but The Guardian. Let's have a look at The Guardian newspaper, see what they've got to say about it. So here we go. So there you go. There's, I mean, again, this picture of the now who we know is the murderer. I mean, we kind of always knew he was the murderer, but because of British law, you can't do anything that's going to jeopardize the trial, and that's quite understandable. But look at the state of that. I mean, that is the face of evil, not the little angelic kid dressed up as Doctor Who that we kept getting shown. No, what you're looking at there is the face of pure evil. Look at those eyes. Look at the way he's behaving. Not the sort of person that you'd really want to be sharing a room with, let alone sharing any space in school. And of course, until very recently, he'd been in the school system. He got thrown out of it fairly recently, but he had been in the school system. So when we go down, The Guardian obviously goes into all the background to him, but then it says something very, very interesting. It says this: on Monday, he pleaded guilty to a terrorism offence, possessing a document called Military Studies in the Jihad Against the Tyrants, the Al-Qaeda Training Manual. Now, we knew about that, and we knew he'd been accused of that. But still, even after that manual being found, the Inspector Clouseau-like Merseyside police are telling everybody that it's nothing to do with terrorism. What actually defines terrorism? Do you have to be linked to Al-Qaeda, ISIS, or the IRA, or whatever the terrorist group is? Surely there's such things as lone wolves. And I can't understand, I honestly can't understand why this has not been put down as a lone wolf. There's other rumours, and I must say they are rumours, but they're very well-founded rumours. Two individuals with close connections to Belmarsh, let's just put it that way, have told me on good authority that this monster is now attending the mosque and has been since he got to Belmarsh. I was told that even before Christmas. I'm sure we all heard that. I've also been told that when he was carrying out his attack, he was calling on the name of Allah. Now, I don't know if these things are true. I genuinely don't. I'm going by the rumor mill because, like what happened in August when it first broke, nobody in authority is giving us the full picture. Maybe we'll find out more when we hear what the prosecution's case was against this monster when the sentencing happens, I think, on Thursday. But until then, we're not going to know. And there's another thing. Was there a deal done here to get this lad a lesser sentence? We were told that you've got to be over 21 to have a full life tariff, but surely he could get a 40-year sentence or whatever it is to make sure that he never sees the light of day again. So there's a lot of very, very murky questions about what's happened with this young man, and they definitely need answered. Now, as you scroll down this, there's a few more things I want to show you before I close this up. Okay, by early 2020, after the first referral, the previous year was assessed that he did not fit the criteria for the voluntary scheme, but should be referred to other services. We don't know if that happened or not. Apparently, when he was looking at stuff earlier, he was looking at school massacres. He was fascinated with violence. He used computers at the school. He attended at a time to search material on school massacres. So that was in 2019, I think, okay? Then we fast forward to 2021, says 2 years later in 2021, he was referred again to Prevent after viewing material on Libya. Now, we all know what's been happening in Libya. ISIS have been operating there. Al-Qaeda type elements have been operating there. Hardcore jihadist elements have been operating there. And then, of course, he looks at the London attacks in 2017. And remember, one of the London attacks, in fact, no, I think both the London attacks were knife attacks. The Borough Market one and the one where there was an assault on Parliament. Both of them were carried out using knives. I mean, am I missing something here? So from what we can gather, and obviously his parents, very, very like the murderer of Lee Rigby. I think it was Michael Adebolajo. I think he came from a Christian home. This kid comes from a Christian home. He went off the rails. This kid has gone off the rails. So there's a pattern here. You know, the rebellion when I was a kid was you listen to punk rock music, you drank bottles of cider and special brew and maybe smashed a few windows if you were rebelling. But now that the pattern seems to be that some people are going off the rails, and it's not a lot. And again, obviously, when I'm making this video and talking about was he a Muslim and why it's relevant, I am in no way comparing what this lunatic has done to every single Muslim. I'm not saying that at all. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. In fact, I'm not going to go into a detail, but there's a Muslim friend of mine that is in a very difficult situation at the moment. And I try to help him, and several other people in the movement are trying to help him as well. So it's not even about this guy's religion or lack of it. But it is relevant if it's related to terror. Because obviously, there is a lot of terrorism carried out in the name of Islam. There's a lot of terrorism that's justified with various verses from the Hadith and the Quran. And we can only come to one conclusion, that they are carrying out the terrorism because of the religion that they follow and that how they perceive they should follow it. Whether it's right or wrong isn't the issue. The issue is that terrorism is being carried out because they believe that that is the will of their God. Okay, so we'll carry on. So he's looking at this material in 2017. Now, this is what I can't understand. This is what I absolutely can't understand. Why are people saying this is not terror related? We know that he had an Al-Qaeda manual. We know he manufactured ricin. We know he wanted to do a school massacre. We know he attacked a Taylor Swift dance class around the same time as Taylor Swift was threatened, I think, in Austria with a terrorist attack from ISIS. No, I'm not saying the two are connected. It could be coincidental. It could even be copycat. We don't know. But surely there has to be some honesty on behalf of the government that's going to tell us exactly what this case is about and exactly what happened. So this is what The Guardian goes on to say. Sources say there remains a grey area in cases where it is feared that a young person may pose a risk of violence, but where there is no sign of a terrorist ideology motivating them. Well, I'm sorry, but it seems that whoever was looking after this kid, in other words, whoever was handling him or whatever they want, whatever Prevent call it, missed the Al-Qaeda manual on his computer. Because I would say that would be a sign of terrorist ideology motivating this young man. But who am I to? I'm not an expert in these things. These experts in Prevent seem to be having great success. So who am I to judge what they do? That says Prevent exists solely to stem the flow of recruits for terrorism. And there's no similar scheme for those who pose a risk of violence where terrorism is not suspected. For the life of me, he's looking at information about the 2017 atrocities. He's looking at what happened in Libya. And believe you me, there was plenty of vile, disgusting bloodletting in Libya. Do you remember the pictures of those Christians on the beach in Libya having their heads cut off by either Al-Qaeda or ISIS? I can't remember which it was, probably ISIS. So this does still not make sense. There has obviously been a cover-up. The man's photograph's only gone out today. And again, a very busy news day. President's just been inaugurated, and bang, this mass murdering monster pleads guilty. That's it done. No more questions asked. There'll maybe be a bit of a statement on Thursday, and then everybody's told to keep calm and carry on. Well, that doesn't work for me, because I'll tell you why. There's people in prison right now because of what that monster did. Every single person that was involved in those riots is in prison now because of what that monster did. They wouldn't have rioted if this didn't happen. Every single person that's in prison for saying hurty words on social media would not be in prison now if it wasn't for what this monster did. Every single person that connected it with Islam was told that they got it wrong, that they were being completely stupid. Well, like I say, there is something in this that smells and stinks to high heaven. And I think we haven't got to the bottom of it. Will we get more information on Thursday? Possibly. But my question remains, in light of what we know about this young lad, Al-Qaeda manual, allegedly using the name of Allah while he did the attack, allegedly going to mosque in Belmarsh prison, and also making ricin that he found in the Al-Qaeda manual. Well, we're all going to draw our own conclusions. We're all going to make our own minds up. But as far as I'm concerned, there is something very, very wrong with this. And the sooner we get the truth, the better. I'll see you all soon.